class to dinner, driving there himself, much to the envy of a certain individual. With a smile, he turned away, dismissing any thoughts of damaging his car to inconvenience that person. Instead, he promptly made a phone call. "Hello, Su Tang. How is the demolition on the back street progressing?" After all, the negotiation experts had just secured agreements from all the villagers, allowing for immediate demolition. Chen Xiao smiled slightly, suggesting they proceed with the demolition overnight, completing it before dawn. Su Tang, momentarily taken aback, replied, "All right, I will increase the workforce significantly to ensure it's done by morning." "Excellent," Chen Xiao responded. Meanwhile, Shi Teng, oblivious to the ongoing developments, was busy arranging a dinner for the entire class, hoping to foster a connection with the class beauty, Wei Wen. That night, Shi Teng successfully enlisted the class monitor to invite nearly 20 classmates under the guise of a class gathering, with the class beauty herself included. The lavish dinner cost nearly 2,000 yuan, an extravagant sum for students of their time, particularly before the gathering dispersed. The sight of Shi Teng's newly acquired second-hand BMW left his classmates in awe. Wei Wen's gaze towards him carried a hint of something deeper. Feeling triumphant, Shi Teng warmly invited Wei Wen to sit in the front passenger seat, while he arranged for the other classmates to take taxis back to school, generously covering the entire fare. Later that night, the two sat in the old BMW beneath the dormitory, sharing their dreams and aspirations, their feelings rapidly intensifying. This scene caught the attention of Lu Xian, who returned from work late. His fists clenched tightly, filled with a mix of emotions, for Wei Wen, from Shi Teng's class, was indeed his ex-girlfriend, who had left him due to his failed stock investments. Shi Teng, upon noticing Lu Xian, had little warmth to offer this acquaintance of Chen Xiao. After a moment's thought, he deliberately rolled down the car window. "Hey, brother, working late delivering food? That seems quite exhausting. If it gets too tough, why not come work for me?" Lu Xian, harboring no fondness for Shi Teng, retorted inwardly, "What is so impressive about running a milk tea shop?" Shi Teng, seizing the opportunity, responded, Yes, my milk tea shop is nothing remarkable, merely earning 500 or 600 yuan a day." He then playfully grabbed Wei Wen's hand, lifting it to showcase her. Though Lu Xian gritted his teeth in frustration, he recognized that Wei Wen was no longer his concern. "Shi Teng, I wish you flourishing business, but don't expect me to show mercy if you ever find yourself working under me." Shi Teng laughed heartily, tapping the car door. "Do you even know what kind of car this is? Work for me. You, a mere delivery guy, have no employees." With a weary sigh, Lu Xian, exhausted from the day, chose to walk away towards the dormitory. Shi Teng smirked, turning to Wei Wen. "Did you see that? This is a man's impotent rage. He's nothing." Wei Wen replied, "Let us just treat him like a stranger from now on. This is so awkward." "All right, I'll follow your lead. Tomorrow, I'll take you to the shop to meet the staff. How about that?" Wei Wen's cheeks flushed, playfully protesting, "Ugh, who wants to be your shop owner?" Shi Teng chuckled inwardly, interpreting her lack of outright rejection as silent agreement. "At 9 o'clock tomorrow, I shall await you downstairs." Upon returning to the dormitory, Lu Xian remained seething with indignation. Xiao Ji inquired, "What troubles you?" Lu Xian retorted, "Damn that dog, Shi Teng. Just because he drives a flashy car, he thinks himself a magnate." Xiao Ji, instantly aligning with Lu Xian's sentiments, echoed, "Indeed, it's just a second-hand BMW he purchased on credit." Lu Xian was taken aback. "Really?" "Yes, but that rascal certainly knows how to make money. He is far better off than you with your food delivery," Xiao Ji replied. Lu Xian's expression darkened. Any semblance of goodwill towards Xiao Ji evaporated instantly. He promptly grabbed a towel and headed for the shower. After returning, he found Chen Xiao finished with his shower as well. Noticing Lu Xian's gloomy demeanor, Chen Xiao, puffing on a cigarette, asked, "Encountered some troubles at work? Your face looks rather grim." Lu Xian vented, "Don't even mention it. Wei Wen has allied herself with that insufferable Shi Teng." They were flaunting their wealth while sitting in his car downstairs. Chen Xiao chuckled, "Don't worry about him. He may seem impressive now, but who knows? He might go bankrupt tomorrow." Lu Xian sighed. Truth be told, that scoundrel is making quite a bit. It won't be easy for him to collapse. Chen Xiao, still smoking, casually remarked, "That's not a certainty. In business, today's success does not guarantee tomorrow's. What if a meteorite were to crash down and obliterate his establishment tonight?" Lu Xian laughed. "Indeed, you're my brother. I relish hearing that." Chen Xiao encouraged, "Focus on your own endeavors. You'll surpass him in due time." This sentiment invigorated Lu Xian. He had cultivated a delivery team comprising 50 to 60 members. handling thousands of orders daily with immense potential ahead. Indeed, I'm not boasting. With a mere command, my brothers. After Chun Zhao's counsel, Lu Xian's spirits lifted. His bravado soared, and he momentarily abandoned his studies in macroeconomics. It was only when Chun Zhao could no longer tolerate his antics, threatening to have Ling Jie assign him to logistics if he didn't sleep, that Lu Xian settled down. For Ling was one who heeded Chun Zhao's words. The following day, at 8 in the morning, Shi Tung awoke with renewed vigor. Everything was proceeding according to his plans. He intended to formally introduce Wei Wen as the proprietress and enjoy a meal together later that evening, hoping for opportunities to arise. With that thought, Shi Tung sprang out of bed. In 4 years of university, he had never risen this early. Outside Building 6, Wei Wen had deliberately chosen a more mature appearance. After all, she was to be addressed as boss lady. She feared that dressing too childishly might appear undignified. Shi Tung's eyes lit up as he beheld her. Today, Wei Wen embodied 7 parts maturity and 3 parts allure. Wei Wen, you look stunning today. Wei Wen's cheeks flushed slightly. Not at all. Let us hurry. I want my employees to see their boss lady. In the boys' dormitory, Chun Zhao kicked Lu Xian awake. Why are you up so early again today? Lu Xian turned over and sat up, sighing. Boasting is exhausting. I'm so tired. Chun Zhao, exasperated, urged him to rise. Come, I'm taking you somewhere. What for? I still need to go to the company. You can go later. Fine. With the soul of the company speaking, Lu Xian had no reason to worry. When asked by the spirited dancer, Lu Xian simply replied that he was going out with Xiao Zi, assuring her that nothing untoward would occur. Following Chun Zhao out of the dormitory, Lu Xian couldn't help but wonder about the purpose of their journey towards the back street, particularly since no shops would be open at such an early hour. Chun Zhao casually remarked that they were going to eat melon. Confused, Lu Xian questioned, what? Are we having chicken feather melon? We should eat breakfast first. Chun Zhao insisted that they would eat upon their return, as time was of the essence. Lu Xian found himself perplexed by Chun Zhao's cryptic intentions. However, clarity soon dawned upon him. Upon arriving at the back street, a dramatic transformation had taken place. The once bustling commercial avenue, filled with low-rise buildings, had been reduced to rubble. A crowd had gathered, engaged in animated discussions. The most striking sight was the first milk tea shop, which had seemingly vanished overnight. The employees, who had left work in good spirits the previous evening, were now confronted with the shocking reality that the shop was no more. As they prepared to contact the owner, Shi Tung had already arrived with Wei Wen in tow. Initially, brimming with confidence as he held Wei Wen's hand, Shi Tung was rendered speechless by the scene before him. He abruptly released Wei Wen's hand and rubbed his eyes vigorously. No, this cannot be happening. I must be dreaming. Where's my shop? Chapter 249. A lesson learned. The 5 employees, frozen in shock, turned to Shi Tung and asked, Boss, are we still open today? Regaining his composure, Shi Tung realized that there was no shop left to operate. He had no time to address his employees' concerns and immediately dialed the landlord. Hello, landlord. What happened to my shop? Why was the building demolished? The landlord, in a cheerful tone, replied, Oh, the building? It has been razed. What? Demolished? Why didn't you inform me in advance? Shi Tung pressed. Inform you? Is there a need? You haven't paid rent for 2 months. I previously urged you to renew the lease, but you kept delaying. Legally speaking, the property has no ties to you anymore. Desperate, Shi Tung exclaimed. Did I not say I would buy a car and pay you in a couple of months? I have a thriving business. How could it just disappear? The landlord retorted. I'm not concerned about your business. The building has been demolished, and your equipment was moved to storage last night. As for the overdue rent, forget it. Goodbye. With that, the call ended abruptly. Standing there, Shi Tung felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He was accustomed to earning money only to squander it, and he had been quite the charmer among the female students at nearby schools. Coupled with his recent desire to purchase a vehicle, he had fallen behind on rent for 2 months. Though the landlord had previously assured him that he could delay payment, the sudden demolition was a complete shock. Wei Wen, who had been eagerly anticipating her role as the boss's wife, was left disheartened by the unexpected turn of events. Chun Zhao, with his hands in his pockets, observed the unfolding drama with keen interest, silently applauding Su Tang's efficiency. The once arrogant Shi Tung, who prided himself on his bravado, was now utterly deflated. Lu Xian, eyes wide in astonishment, finally grasped the situation. Goodness, you actually called it. This is akin to being struck by a meteor. The entire commercial street is gone. Chun Zhao retorted, Get lost. You ungrateful wretch. Faced with such a devastating blow, Shi Tung was filled with rage, yet found himself with no outlet for his frustration. He remained oblivious to the fact that his pretentiousness had momentarily upset someone, leading to the downfall of an entire commercial street. Minutes later, he suppressed his anger, recalling that Wei Wen was still present. Although she could not become the boss's wife, he felt the need to offer her some comfort. However, when he turned around, Wei Wen had vanished without a trace. All that remained were his 5 employees, staring at him with wide eyes. A warmth spread through Shi Teng's heart. He was grateful for their unwavering support. Employee, boss, could you please settle our salaries? Shi Teng. He had no money. He was currently burdened with a mountain of debt. Selling the car was the only option. As this thought crossed his mind, he remembered Chun Zhao's words from the previous night. Shi Teng, I advise you to sell your car while there are still few buyers. Don't wait until you can't repay the loan and have to sell in disgrace. Damn it, I would rather beg than sell my car. Shi Teng, who considered himself a businessman, believed that selling his car would signify a decline in his fortunes. A mark of failure. He had just flaunted his success in front of his classmates, and the next day, selling the car would ruin his reputation. But with his employees clamoring for their wages, Shi Teng could only plead with them for a few more days, assuring them that he would pay them soon. To his surprise, the employees, usually submissive, suddenly became quite assertive. Employee, boss, if we don't receive our salaries today, don't blame us for causing a scene at your school. Shi Teng, no, wait a moment, let me make a call. The employees huddled together, watching him coldly. Feeling cornered, Shi Teng thought for a moment and called the vice president of the student council, Hu Yinyu. He refrained from mentioning his bankruptcy and feigned nonchalance. Hello? Brother Yu, I'm in a bit of a bind. Hu Yinyu inquired. What's wrong? Oh, it's a long story. I went out to dinner with a girl, and she insisted on buying a bag. I just bought a car, and this month I'm short on funds. Could you lend me 10,000? I'll pay you back next month. Hu Yinyu frowned slightly. Your expenditures are quite considerable. Shi Teng gritted his teeth. Well, making money is just about spending it, right? I'll arrange something for you when you return. Hu Yinyu said nothing further. It was common for their group to spend thousands while dining and entertaining. They all had the financial capacity, and for the children of affluent families, 10,000 was not an excessive sum. After all, even a dog needs to be fed, and earning the respect of his subordinates required support during critical moments. Hu Yinyu said, send me your bank details. All right, thank you, brother Yu. After hanging up, Shi Teng let out a sigh of relief. He thought about how he would repay it next month. He only wanted to navigate through the immediate crisis. Once the salaries were dispersed, Shi Teng returned to school, noting the dwindling fuel in his car and the impending expiration of his insurance, which caused him some discomfort. Chen Xiao had no idea that a casual decision of his would lead to such catastrophic consequences for Shi Teng. Meanwhile, he was in his office, enjoying the gentle attentions of his beautiful secretary. Boss, the lady asked if he would return home for the holiday in November, Lin Yanran said softly. Chen Xiao paused, realizing that his mother hadn't called him, and he was only in contact with Lin Yanran. I want to be going. Let us talk about it at the end of the year. Okay, understood. With an abundance of wealth at home and the training base of the Black Shield Security Company at hand, there would be no more issues, allowing Chen Xiao to roam freely outside. The recent market conditions were rather mediocre, consisting solely of small projects that could yield only a few tens of millions. Merely one trading team was sufficient to handle them. Just as Chen Xiao intended to leave for home, Su Tang hurriedly approached him. Boss, the Blue Chin Group has been renamed to Ocean Real Estate Group. Oh, Chen Xiao had anticipated this change, especially since Yan Ziyuan was now the largest shareholder. As expected, Su Tang continued. Moreover, the development zone project plan of Ocean Real Estate Group remains unchanged. Chen Xiao was taken aback. Unchanged? He had received a personal assurance from Yan Ziyuan. If there was still no alteration, it would not merely be an issue with Blue Cheng, but rather one concerning Yan Ziyuan himself. After pondering for a moment, unable to discern the underlying problem, he pulled out his phone to call Yan Ziyuan, seeking clarity on his intentions. At this level of status, were promises truly worthless? However, Yan Ziyuan's phone was unreachable. After ending the call, Chen Xiao chose not to contact his company or reach out to others for Yan Ziyuan. The unchanged project plan and the inability to connect with him already spoke volumes. Very well, since you are heartless, do not blame me for being ungrateful. Let me plan a street dedicated to funeral supplies facing the Ocean Real Estate Group project. Everything from music to performances must be included. You claim you can build? I shall see how you sell. Su Tang's eyes gleamed with excitement, realizing the potential of this approach. Learn something new. Chapter 250. I want to report. All right, boss. I will arrange it immediately. Yes, if anyone from Ocean Real Estate Group inquires about me, Tell them I have gone to Hawaii and will return next month. Understood. Before long, a large planning billboard was erected on the northern side of the Ocean Real Estate Group development project. The stark black and white design was incredibly eye-catching and quickly ascended the news trending charts. The plan detailed a street of shops, clearly stating that they were available for rent only, at a low price, exclusively for the funeral industry. Online discussions erupted instantaneously. Prospective buyers who had previously shown interest in surrounding properties erupted in anger, simultaneously abandoning their plans to purchase nearby real estate. A large group of individuals who had paid deposits stormed the project sales office, clamoring for refunds. Upon seeing this news, Bai Lanqing's eyes widened in disbelief. What? The funeral industry? Had he gone mad? He doesn't intend to sell his own project? One of his subordinates replied, they said the project is on hold, and they want to establish the funeral street first. Bai Lanqing exclaimed, isn't this outrageous? This is sheer thuggery. What sane person would act this way? Contact Chen Xiao immediately. But President Bai, Chen Xiao's secretary, said he is currently in Hawaii, and his phone is unreachable. Bai Lanqing cursed, damn it. Have the PR department do everything possible to suppress public opinion. I will speak with the chairman. Understood. In Yin Ziyuan's office, upon hearing Bai Lanqing's report, he furrowed his brow. Chen Xiao is known for his unconventional approach, often disregarding common sense in his endeavors. I have always believed that opposing him is not a wise course of action. Bai Lanqing remarked, he is merely a young lad. How can he possibly contend with the Wang family? What is there to fear? Yin Ziyuan coldly snorted, producing a newspaper from his drawer and placing on the table before Bai Lanqing. You should take a look for yourself. Bai Lanqing, perplexed, replied, oh, you are referring to the Jining University explosion case? I'm aware of that. What of it? Yin Ziyuan said, you are so eager to serve the Wang family. You cannot possibly be unaware of Shi Zhongfu's fate. At this moment, it dawned on Bai Lanqing that he had only recently become an underling of the Wang family and had limited knowledge, still reveling in the opportunity to align with a prestigious lineage. Yin Ziyuan continued, you have taken over Shi Zhongfu's position. Do you wish to know how he met his end? Bai Lanqing trembled. Is serving the Wang family this perilous? His standing was not at such a height, and his understanding of the upper echelons was limited. He humbly inquired, please, Mr. Yin, enlighten me. Yin Ziyuan produced a thick stack of newspapers, each marked with either conspicuous or subtle headlines. The conflict between Shi Zhongfu and Chen Xiao had erupted months prior, primarily through confrontations in the financial markets, followed by some unsavory tactics. Subsequently, one of Shi Zhongfu's closest aides, Wang Jiankai, was imprisoned, resulting in a decisive victory for Chen Xiao. Bai Lanqing listened intently as Yin Ziyuan elaborated. Later, they clashed again in the futures market, culminating in yet another defeat for Shi Zhongfu. Soon after, his remaining capable assistant, Xing Yanqing, was also incarcerated. Bai Lanqing's eyes widened in shock. And then, the tensions escalated, leading to a car accident on the Jining Bridge, where Chen Xiao was injured. The explosion at Jining University resulted in Shi Zhongfu's demise, although no one possesses tangible evidence. Can you guess if there is a connection among these events? Bai Lanqing, trembling, picked up the newspaper, examining it closely. He had always regarded Chen Xiao as a fortunate, quick-witted young man, but little did he realize that these incidents were orchestrated by him. Yin Ziyuan shook his head. I never claimed that unproven matters are mere rumors. I speak, you listen, and you shall determine the implications yourself. The Wang family wields substantial power, but do not forget the current era. Bai Lanqing silently wiped away a bead of cold sweat. The formidable reputation of the Wang family has endured for ages. Yet can they still act without restraint as they did decades ago? Thank you for your guidance, Mr. Yin. I now know how to proceed. With a long sigh, Yin Ziyuan reflected on their conversation. While he had conveyed his thoughts well to Bai Lanqing, he remained cautious of the Wang family's influence. Though he had not directly confronted Chen Xiao, his avoidance of calls likely irked him. Nevertheless, Yin Ziyuan did not dwell on it too much. Chen Xiao, though impressive, had not yet fully matured. What the future holds is uncertain. After all, people pass away every day. Before Chen Xiao arrived at school, Su Tang's call came through. Hello. Boss, Bai Lanqing has agreed to amend the planning scheme and wishes to meet with you for a detailed discussion. Ha ha ha. He is nothing of consequence. What did you tell him? Su Tang remarked. As you instructed, I told him you're in Hawaii. If he wishes to meet, he should come to Hawaii. Chen Xiao was taken aback. This girl certainly had a mischievous streak. Who had she learned such cunning from? Very well, when he arrives, just inform him that I have returned to my country. Su Tang stifled a giggle, replying, "Boss, that's precisely what I had in mind." The two burst into laughter over the phone. Chen Xiao felt increasingly pleased with Su Tang. Her growth was truly remarkable. Bai Lancheng, as they suspected, was in the process of obtaining a passport to travel to Hawaii to meet Chen Xiao. Meanwhile, Chen Xiao had already arrived at the school, standing beneath Building 5, where Shi Tang's dilapidated car still remained. He was earnestly explaining to Wei 111, "You see, although my shop is gone, I receive compensation. I plan to relocate and continue my business, and you will still be the boss lady." Wei Wen inquired, "Really?" Shi Tang patted his chest confidently, "Absolutely." After a long moment of hesitation, Wei Wen finally said, "All right then, can you take me shopping tomorrow?" Shi Tang replied, "Damn it, the car is out of gas. What do you expect me to do?" "Sure," Wei Wen exclaimed with delight. "See you tomorrow." With that, she happily departed, leaving Shi Tang alone, pulling at his hair in frustration over his BMW. How would he manage the monthly car loan of 8,000? How would he repay Hu Yinyu's 10,000? How would he afford insurance? Gazing at the BMW, Shi Tang mused, "I wonder if this thing can run if I swap it for something else without refueling." Chen Xiao approached with a smile. "Oh, isn't this Mr. Shi? You bought a BMW but aren't driving it. What are you staring at the gas tank for?" Upon seeing Chen Xiao, Shi Tang's expression soured. "It's my car. I'll look at it however I please. What is it to you?" Chen Xiao chuckled, circling the vehicle, then leaned closer to inspect the top right corner of the windshield. "Ah, Mr. Shi, your insurance expires today. You'd better hurry and drive it. If you don't today, you won't be able to hit the road tomorrow." Shi Tang retorted, "I'll just buy a new one." "Are you out of your mind?" Chen Xiao laughed heartily and returned to the dormitory. Shi Tang, clutching his last 100 yuan, resolutely got into his car and drove to the gas station. The following morning, Chen Xiao looked down from the dorm corridor and noticed Shi Tang and Wei when driving away. He smiled faintly and took out his phone. "Hello, is this the traffic management department? I'd like to report a vehicle illegally on the road without insurance, heading from Jining University towards the city. The license plate number is..." Chapter 251. Unable to endure, Shi Tang joyfully drove the beautiful woman out shopping. Soft music filled the car. Although it was a decade-old vehicle, the sound system still delivered a pleasant experience. Wei Wen was applying lipstick using the mirror in the passenger seat. The atmosphere inside the car was relaxed and serene. Suddenly, Shi Tang slammed on the brakes, causing Wei Wen's lipstick to smear from her lips to her temple. "Ah!" Shi Tang. Just as she was about to express her anger, she turned to see a police car blocking the way ahead, with two traffic enforcement officers approaching. They first checked the insurance sticker before stating, "Step out of the vehicle, turn off the engine, and please present your driver's license, vehicle registration, and identification." Shi Tang was left utterly dumbfounded, unable to comprehend the situation. The road in the university town is so secluded, how could one possibly encounter law enforcement? After a thorough inspection, Shi Tang was informed. "Hello, your vehicle is being temporarily detained due to the absence of mandatory insurance. Please purchase the insurance and return to retrieve your car." Shi Tang, seemingly oblivious, lamented the absence of funds to procure such insurance. Mandatory insurance costs a fortune. Wei Wen, with her face adorned in garish lipstick, felt the mocking gazes of those around her piercing through her, igniting a sense of humiliation and indignation within her. In a fit of rage, she stomped her foot and ran back to school, covering her face. Shi Tang, at a loss for words, could only watch helplessly as his car was taken away, cursing his misfortune. The car being impounded was one thing, but the real predicament was that his last 100 yuan had been spent on fuel. Now, even the prospect of having a meal seemed daunting. Just then, a call from Hu Yinyu interrupted his thoughts. "Hello, Shi Tang, are you at school?" Shi Tang's spirits lifted. He might just have a meal sorted. "I'm here." "Oh, great. Can I borrow your car to give a classmate a ride? It's urgent." Shi Tang hesitated. Hu Yinyu paused. "What's wrong? Unwilling to lend it?" "No, it's just that my car." Hu Yinyu continued. "Short on time? Or is it already lent to someone else?" "Fine, goodbye. Just remember to return the money on time." The call ended abruptly, leaving Shi Tang in a state of frustration. He had inadvertently offended his brother. How had he fallen into such a streak of bad luck? In another part of the world, Bai Lancheng, after a grueling 9-hour flight, had just landed in Hawaii. He immediately called the office of the chairman of Tungxiao Capital. "Hello, this is Bai Lancheng. I've arrived in Hawaii. May I inquire when I can meet Chairman Chen?" The call was answered by Lin Yinran, who had long been briefed on how to respond. "Ah, Mr. Bai, you've arrived in Hawaii? Our chairman flew back last night and is currently in Jining." "What?" Bai Lancheng's blood pressure surged. He rubbed his aching back. "Chen Xiao has returned to Jining? He said yesterday he was in Hawaii." Lin Yanran replied. Indeed, he was in Hawaii yesterday and departed for Jining in the evening. Why didn't you inform me? Bai Lanqing exclaimed. Lin Yanran chuckled. You didn't ask, did you? Besides, how was I to know you were going to Hawaii? Bai Lanqing clutched his chest and instructed his subordinate. Quick, fetch me some emergency heart relief pills. After a moment, he continued into the phone. All right. I'll return to Jining now. Please arrange a meeting with Chairman Chen. Lin Yanran replied. I'm sorry, Mr. Bai, but our chairman is about to travel to Antarctica to see the penguins. Perhaps you could meet him there? The sound of the call being abruptly terminated echoed through the air. Bai Lanqing was left fuming, muttering to himself, Antarctica? Why not Mars? The audacious Chun Xiao. How dare you mock me? After venting his frustration, Bai Lanqing composed himself and intended to call Yin Ziyuan, only to discover that his phone had been smashed. How infuriating. His subordinate's phone lacked international roaming, as they had rushed out in haste. Bai Lanqing squinted at the blazing sun, searching for a phone booth for quite some time before finally locating one that could make international calls. Hello, Chairman. Someone from Chun Xiao's office mentioned he has gone to Antarctica. Yin Ziyuan replied. Have him return. He is merely trying to intimidate us. I will reach out to him through another means. Understood. Chen Xiao spent the entire morning playing soccer, relishing the exhilarating sensation of perspiration. His bodyguards, clad in sports attire, were scattered across the four corners of the stadium. Xia Yudi and Li Wenli observed from shaded area, towels and water in hand. Each time Chun Xiao showcased his skills, cheers erupted, causing envy among the other boys. The game continued until 11:30 before concluding. Upon returning to the sidelines, Xia Yudi gently wiped the sweat from his brow with a towel, while Li Wenli promptly handed him warm, lightly salted water. Boss, Yin Binqin called while you were playing. I didn't want to disturb you, his subordinate informed. Chen Xiao glanced at his phone and noted 3 missed calls. It seemed Yin Binqin had something significant to discuss, as 3 consecutive calls were no trivial matter. Just as he was about to return her call, he was suddenly engulfed by the roar of a supercar. Before long, Yin Binqin's McLaren came to a halt beside the stadium, capturing the attention of hundreds present. Yin Binqin emerged, her long legs striding confidently as she removed her sunglasses and approached Chun Xiao directly. What is the matter? Is there an urgent issue? Chun Xiao inquired. Yin Binqin tucked her cascading hair behind her ear, offering a radiant smile. Not urgent. I'm not in a hurry. Then, you may as well stay, Chun Xiao replied. Feeling no rush himself, enjoying the soothing massages from Xia Yudi and Li Wenli to alleviate his post-exercise soreness. Yin Binqin pouted. You certainly know how to indulge. Having 2 beauties attend to you. Why not? Would you care to help me with a shoulder rub? Chun Xiao suggested. Yin Binqin rolled her eyes. Despite their previous intimate encounters, she still could not shed the persona of a domineering CEO in public. Countless gazes were fixated on them, seemingly ablaze with envy, while others typically wiped their faces with their jerseys after a match before heading back to the dorms to shower and boast. This fellow had 2 stunning women attending to him right after the game, alongside a breathtaking woman who drove a supercar. What on earth was his background? The teammates, who had felt indifferent during the match, now regarded Chen Xiao as if he were an alien from another planet. How could he achieve this? What use are my soccer skills? I can't help but feel envious. Surrounded by beautiful women, Chun Xiao reclined comfortably, a satisfied expression gracing his face. Your father sent you, didn't he? Yin Binqin nodded slightly. Their first project was crucial for capital recovery, and it was said that the sales office was currently inundated with requests for refunds. Chapter 252, General Lu Chun Xiao chuckled. Why don't you ask your father if he's still impressive? Yin Binqin replied. Do you think it's appropriate for me to ask that? Chen Xiao contemplated for a moment and agreed, saying, then let Bai Lanqing explain it to me in person. Otherwise, I will certainly transform that entire street into a funeral parlor. Furthermore, he added, inform your father and Bai Lanqing that if a single ray of sunshine is obstructed from my project, I will ensure that all future projects of your ocean real estate group are surrounded by funeral parlors. Yin Binqin remarked, you truly are ruthless. Chun Xiao responded with a smile. Without a touch of ruthlessness, one cannot stand firm. I hope for your understanding should there be any collateral damage. Yin Binqin chuckled. You know, I am at Ocean Real Estate solely to vie for a voice in the Atlantic capital today. I bet on the future of the real estate company we are to establish together. Chun Xiao nodded. That is reassuring. Initially, I felt a slight moral burden in dealing with them, but your words have alleviated that considerably. Yin Binqin rolled her eyes. You merely speak beautifully. You have no moral burden whatsoever. Chun Xiao smiled silently. Yin Binqin was astute and self-aware. her deductions were entirely accurate. After Chun Xiao had rested sufficiently, a throng of people began to leave the stadium. Xia Yudi was eager to return to gaming, while Li Wenli mentioned preparing for a personal art exhibition. Before long, only Yin Bingqin remained by Chun Xiao's side as they strolled through the campus. Their attire appeared mismatched. Chun Xiao was clad in a sweat-drenched jersey, a towel draped around his neck, exuding youthful vigor and an aura of hormones. In contrast, Yin Bingqin, tall and elegantly dressed with exquisite makeup, clearly embodied the essence of a wealthy heiress of considerable standing. Curiously, the untamed boy walked ahead, while the domineering female CEO trailed half a step behind, making them a unique sight on campus. Chun Xiao, when will our real estate company be established? Yin Bingqin inquired. Chun Xiao pondered, noting his limited cash flow, with only over 5 billion at hand, necessitating the wait for a favorable market. Notarus, we shall address that after resolving the current matters. Yin Bingqin questioned, is there anything else to consider? Isn't Shi Zhongfu already dead? Chun Xiao laughed. Do you think the Wang family will simply let it go? Yin Bingqin remained silent. The answer was evident. However, it was likely that things would calm down for a time, especially since the explosion incident at Jining University was still unfolding, remaining at the forefront of public attention. After speaking, Chun Xiao felt uncomfortable in his sweat-soaked jersey, so he removed it and tossed it to Yin Bingqin. Please hold this for me. Yin Bingqin exclaimed, it's all sweaty. Why don't you carry it yourself? Chun Xiao chuckled, I prefer not to hold things in my hands. Yin Bingqin was speechless, pouting as she draped Chun Xiao's jersey over her wrist, her demeanor far from that of a domineering CEO, as they continued their conversation. Chun Xiao's phone rang. Noticing it was Zhang Ming calling, he promptly answered. Hello, Mengzi, what is up? Xiaoge, come hang out at my place. It's all girls here, and their SA match today. Just don't tell Qin Jia. Chun Xiao turned to Yin Bingqin with a smile and said, perhaps next time, as I'm rather pressed for time today. However, Yin Bingqin was uncomfortably close to Chun Xiao, her delicate face already clouded with frost. Zhang Ming, are you tired of living? Zhang Ming's heart skipped a beat. Oh my, brother Xiao, is the esteemed Yin by your side? Chun Xiao replied, indeed. What a stroke of bad luck this is. This is disastrous. I must hasten to purchase a ticket and escape. While speaking, Yin Bingqin had already dashed towards her McLaren. With a roar, the car shot off like an arrow. Chun Xiao held his phone and remarked, if you plan to flee, you better be swift about it. All right, let us talk later. With that, Zhang Ming hurriedly ended the call. Chun Xiao found it amusing. What kind of luck did Mengzi have? Why call now of all times? He then touched his chiseled abs and thought, oh no, my clothes. Passers-by, upon seeing Chun Xiao's physique, could not help but steal glances. Chun Xiao felt speechless and thought, what a significant loss I have incurred. How many girls have I been subjected to being admired by, without them letting me reciprocate? The food delivery service had already captured a significant share of the market at Jining University. However, those in the know could easily discern that the organizational structure of the delivery service was not solely designed to cater to just one university. The number of departments had already exceeded 50 employees, including graphic design, customer service, human resources, writers, and various other subdivisions, with the total staff surpassing 100. The initial funding of 500,000 had nearly been exhausted. The rapid expansion was made possible by the promise of a second investment from Qianhu Investment Company. The first 500,000 was considered seed funding, and now that the delivery service had gained traction, its prospects were promising, nearing the conditions for angel investment. In the office, various departments were bustling with activity. The delivery service exuded the vigor of a startup. Liu Xin, along with colleagues from several departments, was examining ways to optimize the delivery process. At that moment, a colleague responsible for recruitment entered. Manager Liu, we have another batch of applicants for the part-time writer positions. Good. Take them to the conference room and wait for me for 10 minutes. I will be right there. Understood. In the workplace, Liu Xion's capabilities had improved significantly compared to his stock trading days. Like most individuals, when engaged in their respective professions, they were all elites. Yet, once they entered the stock market, they became tender and inexperienced, often falling prey to those who exploited them repeatedly, some even losing everything. In the conference room, Shi Tung sat with several others, awaiting Liu Xion's arrival. He never imagined that just a few days prior, he was a campus celebrity, a budding entrepreneur, raking in substantial profits. Yet, in the blink of an eye, he found himself burdened with debt, reduced to the necessity of taking a job for survival. Originally, he had no intention of delivering food, having previously mocked Liu Xion for doing so. However, circumstances dictated that the only part-time job on campus that offered high pay and flexible hours was with the delivery service. Fellow students, please hold on. Manager Lu will be here shortly. Shi Teng internally grumbled. Why must it be this surname? Of all names, it had to be Lu. He shares the same surname as Lu Xin. Alas, turning back, I decided to don a veil, just in case I encountered Lu Xin while delivering the orders, to avoid being recognized and ridiculed by him. At that moment, Shi Teng had never considered that the leader with the surname Lu could possibly be Lu Xin. He merely thought it was a coincidence of shared surnames. Among them, some were embarking on their first job, which rendered them somewhat apprehensive. After waiting for 7 or 8 minutes, footsteps echoed from outside. The staff member in charge of the takeaway announced, "Fellow students, our general manager, Lu, has arrived. Please listen to his instructions." A few sparse responses followed from below. Soon, a figure stepped into the conference room. Shi Teng furrowed his brow, utterly astonished. Lu, the general manager? No, this cannot be. It must be a coincidence. The actual leader is still behind. Shi Teng craned his neck eagerly to peer towards the door. When Lu Xin spotted Shi Teng, he too was momentarily taken aback. With a scowl, he inquired, "What are you doing here?" Shi Teng was somewhat speechless, stammering, "I." Lu Xin instantly recalled that the store owned by this fellow had gone under. Could it be that he was in need of funds? Noticing Shi Teng struggle to articulate a response, Lu Xin said, "All right then, let us commence the interview. Shi Teng, you will be first. The others may wait outside for their turn." Understood. The others departed in succession. Only then did Shi Teng come to the realization that the wretched Lu Xin was indeed the general manager. How could this insufferable individual attain such a position as a takeaway manager? Surely, I possess superior abilities in every regard. Does that not mean? But now he is the manager, and with Lu Xin present, I may not even pass the interview. After much contemplation, Shi Teng resolved to employ a tactic of provocation. Lu Xin, you wouldn't be harboring a personal vendetta, would you? Lu Xin chuckled. Do I appear to be that sort of person? Shi Teng's heart soared with delight as he shook his head. Not at all. Lu Xin nodded. Ah, how mistaken you are. I am indeed the type to settle personal scores. Surprised? Aren't you? Shi Teng thought. This is utterly unexpected. He is not adhering to the usual script. Given the bleak prospects of employment, Shi Teng's temper flared. Damn it, if I don't get the job, so be it. You're merely fortunate. Why act so superior? If I had the same opportunity, I would undoubtedly perform better than you. Lu Xin chuckled. In the past, I shared your naive perspective. But now I can see that in terms of individual capability, you surpass me. However, there are many who are stronger than I. Do you understand why I occupy this position? Shi Teng, utterly bewildered, asked why. Lu Xin smiled. You're still young. Ponder this upon your return. How absurd. Are you putting on airs? Lu Xin's expression darkened. Someone, remove this insolent fool from my sight. He is utterly ungrateful. Yes, sir. Shortly thereafter, 2 security guards arrived, escorting Shi Teng out of the takeaway company. Passers-by, students observing the scene, pointed and whispered, causing him to feel as if his face burned hotter than the sun-baked concrete pavement at noon. Most crucially, Wei Wen stood across the street at the entrance of the comprehensive building, her face a picture of astonishment as she witnessed the entire episode unfold. Seeing Shi Teng being unceremoniously thrown out, Wei Wen, allow me to elucidate. Lu Xin emerged, observing the scene, and exclaimed, do not be swayed by his deceit. Allow me to clarify. His wretched establishment has collapsed, leaving him destitute and seeking employment from my subordinates, which I declined. His brazen arrogance led to his expulsion at my command. That is the essence of the matter, succinctly put. Shi Teng interjected. What the hell? Wei Wen glanced at Shi Teng sprawled on the ground, and then at Lu Xin, who loomed above on the steps. Xiao Xin, would you care to join me for dinner this evening? Shi Teng was left bewildered. Chun Xiao returned to his dormitory to don a jacket before heading to the company. At that moment, he reclined on a lounge chair in the office, perusing the report submitted by Wang Lan, the head of Qianhu Investment Company. The daily order volume for takeout around Jining University and its vicinity had exceeded 10,000, with the potential for expansion to other institutions. Achieving a valuation of 10 million. Let's invest 5 million in the angel round, securing the university town first, and once stabilized, we shall commence our expansion into the city, he stated. Understood, boss, replied Wang Lan, bowing slightly before discreetly exiting. Chun Xiao rhythmically tapped his fingers on the armrest. His gaze fixed on Qianhu, his mind preoccupied with the takeout business. Following the incubation of the market at Jining University, the team's synergy had significantly improved, creating favorable conditions for external expansion. As a startup under his command, the takeout business lacked neither funds nor talent. It was simply in need of growth experience. The next step was to encompass all schools in the vicinity of the university town, accumulating extensive experience across a broad area, thus preparing for a future foray into the entire Jining market. If the Jining market could be effectively managed and stabilized for a period, it could radiate outwards to major cities nationwide, ultimately achieving comprehensive coverage and evolving into a colossal enterprise. The vision was clear, yet it necessitated a methodical approach. While he pondered, Lin Yanran approached softly, whispering, "Boss, Bai Lanqing has arrived." Chen Xiao withdrew from his thoughts, but did not rise. He held no courtesy for those who, having failed in their endeavors, now sought his favor. "Let him in," he commanded. "Understood," Lin Yanran replied, and shortly thereafter ushered in a weary Bai Lanqing. At his age, traversing 20,000 kilometers was indeed taxing on his body. Upon entering, Bai Lanqing found Chen Xiao reclined in the lounge chair before the floor-to-ceiling window, seemingly indifferent to his arrival. A wave of melancholic realization washed over him. He considered himself a well-known entrepreneur in Jining, yet here he was subjected to such treatment. He approached and bowed slightly, saying, "Chairman Chen, I trust you are well?" Chen Xiao responded coldly, "Well, my project has barely taken root and was nearly extinguished. How could I be well?" Bai Lanqing, having prepared himself mentally for this encounter, was taken aback by Chen Xiao's utter disregard for basic decorum. "Ahem, it is all a misunderstanding. We have revised the design plan." Chen Xiao replied nonchalantly, "Revision is well and good. What concern is it of mine? It is evident that you are aware of my occupation. It is merely a piece of land. Whether to build or not, and when to commence, ultimately depends on my whims." Bai Lanqing, having traversed this path, feels a chilling apprehension. The capital of Tengxiao is indeed extravagantly affluent. He has never encountered a security team of such formidable presence. Contemplating the demise of Shi Zhongfu and the fate of his subordinates, Bai Lanqing discreetly wipes away a bead of cold sweat, adopting an even more humble demeanor. "Indeed, Mr. Chen is correct. It was my ignorance before. I humbly beseech your forgiveness." Chen Xiao sighed, lamenting, "You see, both of you, the younger one's folly can be excused, and I refrain from holding it against him, but how is it that the elder exhibits such behavior?" Bai Lanqing found himself speechless. It felt as though he was being chastised like a subordinate. Yet, he felt powerless. A man like Shi Zhongfu did not intimidate him, for although he played dirty, he lacked substantial wealth, and his security team was not to be underestimated. In contrast, Chen Xiao was not only more cunning, but also possessed considerable financial resources. Who could fathom the cost he would incur to deal with an adversary? After all, Shi Zhongfu's demise was shrouded in silence, and apart from an explosion in a sewer, no other conclusions have surfaced. "Mr. Chen, you are aware that Bai Haonan is essentially incapacitated. If he inadvertently provokes you, he merely seeks to retain his life, leaving the rest to your discretion. Moreover, his transgressions bear no relation to me. I assure you, I will not add to your burdens in the future." Chen Xiao cast a sidelong glance at him, pondering whether the elder Bai had received counsel from an esteemed figure, likely from Yanji Yuan. "Very well. Since you express such sincerity, I am not one to be stingy." Bai Lanqing felt a quiet sense of relief. Chen Xiao rose and offered him a cigarette, grinning. "Uncle Bai, do you not find the scenery of Qianhu delightful?" Bai Lanqing, with a sense of trepidation, accepted it, nodding in agreement. "Indeed, the view is splendid." Chen Xiao sighed. "Ah, it is beautiful, yet rather monotonous. What shall we do about the absence of a luxurious yacht?" Bai Lanqing exclaimed in disbelief. "A yacht, you say?" Chen Xiao continued. "Yes, a friend had previously mentioned gifting me one as a token during his next visit, but I cannot recall who it was." "Uncle Bai, could you help me remember?" Bai Lanqing, frustrated, thought, "How would I know? In any case, it is certainly not from me." The yacht Chen Xiao desired would cost no less than several tens of millions. Chen Xiao added, "If you cannot recall, it matters not. I have heard that the funeral industry is quite lucrative. I suppose I shall earn the funds myself, for I cannot rely on friends." "Mr. Chen, you truly are a man of many forgetful moments. The one who promised you a luxurious yacht was I." Chen Xiao raised an eyebrow. "Is that so?" "Uncle Bai, you are exceedingly gracious." Bai Lanqing smiled outwardly, though inwardly he felt a pang of anguish. "Ah, just a modest token of goodwill. Very well. Since you insist on gifting it, I shall reluctantly accept. However, as you can see, there is no dock by the lakeside for mooring." Bai Lanqing struggled to suppress his urge to curse, maintaining a forced smile. "Who insisted on giving it? You are the one who is reluctant? However, having purchased the yacht, a dock seems a trivial addition. No worries, I shall construct a dock for you as well." Chen Xiao nodded. "Indeed, Uncle Bai, your consideration is truly commendable. Now, Qian Lake will no longer appear desolate. What do you think of my courtyard? Bai Lancheng glanced downward, remarking, Mr. Chun, your courtyard is meticulously landscaped, exhibiting exquisite taste and elegance. Chen Xiao gave a thumbs up. Uncle Bai, your discernment is impressive. It's just a pity that it lacks a Bugatti sports car. Bai Lancheng, taken aback, exclaimed, what? Is this not finished yet? Ahem, acquiring a Bugatti is no simple task. I've heard one must place an order in advance. Chen Xiao concurred. Indeed, you are quite knowledgeable, Uncle Bai. However, I've heard that a dealership in the Magic City will have a display vehicle available next week. Is that not fortuitous? Bai Lancheng responded with exasperation. What a stroke of luck for you. He sighed, Mr. Chun, if you desire it, I shall procure it for you next week. Chen Xiao quickly waved his hands. Oh, that would be too much trouble. Thank you. Chen Xiao then inquired, what do you think of my office building? Bai Lancheng shuddered. What? Why can I not see? Everything is obscured. Mr. Chun, I must visit the hospital. We shall converse at another time. After stating this, Bai Lancheng was assisted by his subordinates as he exited the Tingxiao Capitol building. Chen Xiao observed him leaving, and a subtle smirk appeared on Bai Lancheng's lips as he regained his sight. If apologies were effective, what need would there be for the law? Bai Lancheng returned to the company with a sorrowful expression, reporting the situation to Yin Ziyuan. Yin Ziyuan was taken aback, as Chen Xiao was not one to suffer losses lightly. Having offended him would certainly necessitate some substantial recompense, akin to a monetary sacrifice to avert greater misfortune, albeit it was merely around 1 billion. Bai Lancheng thought to himself, although my net worth amounts to several hundred billion, most of it comprises shares in the Ocean Real Estate Group. I possess only a few billion in liquid assets, and now I must allocate 1 billion to that little rascal. Yet, having made this mistake myself, if I wish to avoid a fate similar to Shi Zhongfu, I have no choice but to comply. However, both Yin Ziyuan and Bai Lancheng underestimated Chen Xiao. After contemplating for a moment in his office, he summoned Su Tang and instructed, there is no need to hastily withdraw from the Funeral Street project. We shall wait until everything is in place. Regarding the yacht, let us settle on a mid-sized model at a price of 200 million, and the dock should be designed by an internationally renowned architect, with costs no less than 20 million. Understood, boss. Bai Lancheng, who was quietly lamenting, thought that 1 billion would suffice. Little did he know that Chen Xiao had already elevated the stakes to 5 billion. As Chen Xiao himself put it, if one dares to provoke me, they must be prepared to pay a painful price. Otherwise, if every Tom, Dick, and Harry comes to bother me, what kind of life would that be? After resolving the matter with Bai Lancheng, Chen Xiao sat in his spacious office, engrossed in a video game, while Lin Yinran occasionally brought small pieces of fruit to his lips. Just as Chen Xiao was enjoying the game, a pop-up advertisement appeared on his computer screen. Huawei Technology Company launches the first 3D smartphone, Model 8500. Chen Xiao paused, immediately closing the game. Have domestic manufacturers finally begun to exert their influence in the smartphone arena? Currently, the focus is on entry-level devices. Even Huawei might not have anticipated that within a mere decade, they would evolve to a level that poses a threat to overseas competitors, only to face malicious oppression. In this era, companies have unveiled 28-nanometer chips. Although the domestic sector can design 90-nanometer chips, production remains elusive. This is a time when the entire nation is vigorously pursuing economic development, yet in the realm of technology, aspirations often fall short. Consequently, the semiconductor industry is heavily dependent on imports. This prospect excites Chen Xiao with increasing fervor. An opportunity to break free from restrictions and potentially influence the future global economic landscape is within reach. However, the challenges are evident. It is clear that this is not a problem solvable merely with financial resources. Relying solely on purchases is futile, as certain shameless nations will not allow equipment to flow into the country. It appears that a long-term strategy is necessary, requiring a dual approach. Yinran summoned Su Tang. Understood. Lin Yinran set down the fruit platter and stepped out. Shortly after, Su Tang entered. Boss, I have some good news to share with you. Oh, what news? Su Tang replied, the initial batch of Bitcoin you instructed us to buy has reached 500,000, and the price has surged from $1 to $10, a tenfold increase. Chen Zhao's eyes lit up. Excellent. Let us not hesitate. Even if it climbs 100-fold or 1,000-fold, we must continue to acquire more. Understood. Chen Xiao composed himself and said, let the investment firm keep an eye on the domestic semiconductor industry, particularly companies involved in light sources, precision machining, lasers, lenses, and packaging. Focus on those with relatively strong research capabilities, and if the opportunity arises, we should consider acquisition. Su Tang was momentarily taken aback. Is the boss planning to enter the semiconductor industry? Yes. Additionally, I've communicated with the live streaming company. They are willing to accept our investment. Chen Xiao pondered for a moment. My objective has changed. Let us discuss acquisition with them. Su Tang replied, understood. The valuation of live streaming in this era is merely in the billions. There is no need for Chen Xiao to settle for a minority stake. Would it not be better to acquire outright? Then, we could easily establish Cat Tooth and Shark, dominating half of the live streaming industry. Once arrangements were complete, Chen Xiao rose and said, let us go, show me my Bitcoin. Certainly. Su Tang was puzzled as to why the boss was so intrigued by virtual currencies valued at less than $1 million. Chapter 255. This is promising. Money serves as the cornerstone for realizing all aspirations. Whether Chen Xiao aims to venture into real estate or semiconductor chips, substantial financial backing is essential. To Chen Xiao, Bitcoin symbolizes wealth. Moreover, it is particularly favored in foreign black markets, as the distributed computing of blockchain is untraceable, facilitating seamless global circulation. It is utilized by many operating within gray areas. In the basement of Tung Xiao Capital, Chen Xiao had already procured an ultra-heavy safe in advance. He solemnly placed the hard drive containing the bitcoins at the center of the safe. Surrounding the safe, there are infrared alarm devices, video surveillance systems, and 24-hour security patrols. In the evening, Wu Ling called to inform that representatives from Qinhu Investment Company wished to arrange a dinner that night to discuss angel round investments. Chen Xiao hesitated. He had no intention of attending since these were his own enterprises. However, appearances mattered, especially since Qinhu Investment Company was ostensibly his own choice. At 7 o'clock, in a private room at the Jining International Hotel, upon entering, Chen Xiao was met with Liu Xian's complaints. Why are you so late? Today is the meeting with investors. Chen Xiao glanced at the others, noticing their discomfort in the upscale setting. Likely their first visit to such a high-end hotel. They had all dressed formally, while Chen Xiao remained in casual attire. What is the rush? I'm quite familiar with the investors. Being late won't matter. The others looked at Chen Xiao with a sense of unvoiced admiration. The company's success had surpassed their wildest dreams, especially for Chang'e, who had shared a dorm with Li Jian. Back when the backstreet had not yet been demolished, Chen Xiao had treated them to dinner to discuss a joint venture. But Li Jian had declined due to his skepticism. Since then, after the food delivery service secured seed round funding, Li Jian had been filled with regret. He now wished to join, but had missed a prime opportunity. Even a mere investment of 2,000 yuan back then would have garnered considerable shares. Now, he would be fortunate to even touch the threshold, especially since the food delivery service no longer lacked investors. After some idle chit-chat, Chang'e brought up Li Jian, prompting a collective sigh from the group. They said nothing more. Missed opportunities were simply that. Each of them reflected on their own fortunes. The company's rapid growth was evident, and if everything went smoothly that evening, they would embark on a new phase of accelerated development. Soon, the representatives from Qinhu Investment Company arrived. Chen Xiao immediately recognized that General Manager Wang Lan had personally led the team. The group quickly stood to greet her as the representatives of Tung Xiao Capital introduced. This is Ms. Wang Lan, our general manager. She places great importance on this investment, hence her personal attendance. Wu Ling and the others were somewhat taken aback. Although she was a business professional, her experience in the industry was still limited, and her social skills were not particularly refined. Aside from exchanging pleasantries, there was little strategic conversation. Wang Lan, however, paid no mind, understanding the circumstances of the startup. Nodding in acknowledgement to Chen Xiao, she said, please, everyone, take a seat. Chen Xiao, composed, responded, please let us sit. Waitstaff, bring out the dishes, both cold and hot. Certainly. Liu Xian, sitting beside Chen Xiao, discreetly nudged him several times, signaling him to be mindful of the investor's preferences. Chen Xiao didn't indulge him, retaliating with a few kicks that left Liu Xian feeling frustrated. You're something else, Liu Xian muttered. Chen Xiao shot him a glare, signaling him to be quiet. He then engaged Wang Lan in a brief conversation. As the dialogue flowed, Wu Ling and the others gradually adapted to the atmosphere, becoming more talkative. Wang Lan, having worked for several years before joining Qinhu Investment, possessed a keen ability to read people. Among the boss's classmates, aside from Wu Ling,